Okay, now the next one says write an equation of a circle with the given center and radius. You only have one form. Okay, that form, just remember your equation form is just x minus h squared plus the quantity y minus k squared equals the radius squared. So remember, the first part here, we have all of our h and k's, and then we have our radius. All right, and so always make sure you completely square the radius for your final answer. So if I plug this into this form, here's my h. I go x minus 0 squared plus the quantity y minus 0 squared equals 6 squared. Well, what does that give me when I completely simplify it? Well, x minus 0 is x. That's x squared. Y minus 0 is y. That's y squared equals 36. So that would be your final equation. Now I'm going to do these in different colors so that you don't get too confused. I'm going to do the same thing here with the following. I'm going to have x minus a negative 2 squared, because I'm plugging in a negative 2 for h, plus the quantity y minus 3 squared equals the square root of 12. I have to square it. So x minus a negative 2, I get x plus 2 squared. Plus, and this other one you just leave as y minus 3 squared. And what's the square root of 12 squared? It should be what? 12. Excellent. There's your equation right here. And I'm using an arrow with two parts, which implies that this would be your final answer. So I'm going to do the same idea here. I'm going to go x minus a negative 3 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals the square of 3 root 5 squared. Remember, you square the whole thing here. So subtracting a negative makes a positive. Didn't switch my color here like I wanted to. Y minus 0 is y, so you can just go y squared equals, make sure you square everything. So you got your 3 squared, which is your 9, and your square root of 5, which is 5. 9 times 5, 45. So let me underline that in a different color here. And then we have our last one here. We have our h and k for this value. So I'm just going to go x minus 5 squared plus the quantity y minus 4 squared equals 12 squared, radius squared. Okay? Now remember, this part doesn't change, but I need to square this. So my final answer for this one would be x minus 5 squared. Okay? And I'm not sure why that thing right there showed up, so please ignore it. I get y minus 4 squared equals 144. So that would be your final equation here. Guys, they don't get any more complicated than that, so don't try to make it harder than it is. Okay? We're going to try to keep it really simple. All right, now let's keep going. Now it says here, for what value of r does the circle x minus 3 squared plus the quantity y plus 4 squared equals the radius squared contains the origin? Well, what's the origin? Well, that's the point 0, 0. Well, here's how you find out what it is. You plug in 0, 0 in for x and y, because that's a point on the circle. Okay? And remember, it looks something kind of like this, because my center is going to be over at 3, negative 4, and it's talking about, like, hey, it's going through here. What value am I getting? So plug it in. That's all you have to do. Go 0 minus 3 squared plus the quantity 0 plus 4 squared equals the radius squared. And that will help us find r. So 0 minus 3 is a negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 squared is 16 equals the radius squared. I get 25 equals the radius squared. Take the square root of that, the radius equals 5. Now someone's probably asking, why did I just plug it into the equation? Well, because remember, the equation of a circle is based on the distance formula. It really is the distance formula, so why would I do it twice? I can just plug it into the formula. Here's another one. It says write an equation of the circle with the center 4, negative 2 and contains the point 0, 5. So here's my h and k, and this is just an x and y that works in it. So what do I do first when I have this one? Well, I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to go x minus 4 squared plus the quantity, I'm going to go y minus negative 2 squared equals my radius squared. So now I'm going to plug in my values here, okay? So I'm going to go 0 minus 4 squared. That's going to be my x. This is going to be my y. My y is going to be 5, so subtracting a negative, it's plus 2 squared equals the radius squared. Well, negative 4 squared is 16. 5 plus 2 is 7 squared, which is what? 14 equals the radius squared. Well, that's going to end up being what value? 30 is your radius squared. So if that's the case, your final equation is just the following. X minus 4 squared plus the quantity y plus 2 squared equals 30. It's using the formula to actually help us find the radius. I kind of like it. It's kind of like for those of you who like to do that in slope-intercept form. It's kind of that idea. Now here's another one. Writing the equation of a circle with the diameter segment AB. Well, if I have a diameter, I need a midpoint, right? So first, find the center. And that's going to use the midpoint formula. Don't forget it. We got to use it. So the midpoint formula is the average of the x's. I get the average of the two y's. I get 10 over 2, which is going to be 5, and I get 6 over 2, which is 3. So that's your center. Now I'm going to do like I did earlier. I'm going to plug it into the formula right away, and then I'm going to use one of the 2 points, and it doesn't matter which one you use, but solve for it that way. So I'm going to go here. X minus 5 squared plus here we get y minus 3 squared equals the radius squared. Now pick one of those 2 points that you like. I have several people that say I just go 7 and 6. Okay, go 7 and 6. That's going to be your x and your y. So you're going to go 7 minus 5 squared because the 7 goes in for the x, 6 goes in for the y. So 7 minus 5 is 2 squared. 6 minus 3 is 3 squared, which equals radius squared. So you get 4 plus 9 equals your radius squared. That's 13. All right, so your radius squared is 13. So what's your final equation? Notice I don't take the square root of it, even because what do I need for the equation of a circle? I need the radius squared. So when I do it, I just write it down. I go x minus 5 squared plus the quantity y minus 3 squared equals 13. And that's your equation of the circle. So we use it to help us out. Here's the best part. It's just sketching the end of the circle. And to sketch a circle, it's the easiest thing in the world. You just have to know the center. If you can pick out the center and you can solve for the radius, you have everything you need. So the key thing to do that I always ask students to do is write down your center, write down your radius. So the center for this first one, and if you need to, you write the values of the equation up above. And I go, okay, the center for this one is going to be 3, negative 4, and my radius is the square of 9, which is 3. So here's how you do it. This is what I like. You go and you graph your center point first. So I go 3, negative 4. So 1, 2, 3. Then I don't go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3, negative 4. There's my center. Then I have to use my radius to find the distance all the way around. So what's the fastest way of doing that? Well, the fastest way of doing that is going up, down, right, left. So I go up 3, down 3. 1, 2, 3. I have to count today. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you draw a circle. Please make it look like a circle. I don't expect perfection, but it looks bad when they look like footballs or rounded squares. So try to make it look as good as you can. And you always label the center and with the point. So that's 3, negative 4. Or you can always draw an arrow out and say, oh, the center is 3, negative 4. Some way, label the center every single time. Now let's do the same thing with the value here. So what's the key thing that I told you? You must find the center and the radius. So your center for this one's negative 2, 0, because we pull out our center, and our radius is the square root of 4, which is 2. So I go over here to negative 2, 0. There's our value. Then I go up 2, down 2, right 2, left 2. I have a, all right, I almost could sing that. Up 2, down 2, right 2, left 2. It's like I'm dancing. Up, back, right, left. Okay, sorry. Like I said, it's 9:15 at night. Guys, I'm a little tired here, so I'm going to sing whatever I have to do to keep me going here. Mark up, down, right, left, 2 away, and then label it. All right? So when you do this, what's your center? Your center is at negative 2, 0. So make sure you label your center, make sure you graph it, but this is all the basic type of problems that you're going to have to do. Make sure you look on the back of your worksheet. There's going to be problems just like the ones we did here together. All right, guys. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to call me at home.